Have you ever felt a gnawing envy, a quiet bitterness, or a subtle sense of injustice when someone else succeeds? Perhaps a secret satisfaction when a rival stumbles? These are common human emotions, often dismissed as fleeting imperfections. But for Friedrich Nietzsche, these feelings were not merely trivial. They were symptoms of a profound psychological and moral illness that, left unchecked, could poison both the individual and society. Nietzsche called this insidious force resentment. It's more than simple jealousy. It's a deep-seated, reactive bitterness that, unable to act directly against its perceived source, turns inward, festering and ultimately reshaping one's entire moral framework. It's the shadow within us, distorting our values and preventing true self-overcoming. In a hyperconnected world, fueled by comparison and performative perfection, resentment is more rampant than ever. How do we recognize this destructive force within ourselves and in our culture? And how can Nietzsche's radical philosophy offer a path to conquering it, allowing us to build genuine strength rather than succumbing to inner weakness? To understand resentment, we must first go beyond common definitions of envy or jealousy. For Nietzsche, resentment is a psychological state arising from a prolonged, suppressed experience of weakness, inferiority, or powerlessness. When an individual cannot directly assert their will or retaliate against a perceived wrong, this unexpressed aggression turns inward, becoming chronic and transformative. The slave revolt in morality begins when resentment itself becomes creative and gives birth to values. On the genealogy of morality, Nietzsche argued that resentment is primarily a reactive emotion. It doesn't originate from one's own inner strength or affirmation of life, but as a reaction against someone or something else. It says no to an external force before it can say yes to itself. The individual, unable to act directly, reinterprets their weakness as virtue and the strength of others as evil. Key characteristics of resentment: origin in weakness. It stems from a feeling of powerlessness and inability to act. Suppressed aggression. The desire for revenge or dominance is repressed. While reversal WAT is strong label, others relabeled as evil or arrogant. WAT weak, passive cerebral, virtuous or humble. Projection and blame. The individual projects their own failures and dissatisfactions onto external forces or individuals. Delay and subterfuge. Since direct action is impossible, resentment often employs indirect, subtle, and often deceptive means to undermine its target. Nietzsche famously traced the origins of slave morality, Christian morality, in his view to resentment. He argued that the weak, unable to overthrow the powerful masters, reinvented morality to elevate their own suffering and meekness as virtues, while demonizing the strength and pride of the masters. This reinterpretation made the weak feel morally superior, even in their powerlessness. If resentment was a powerful force in ancient societies, it finds an even more fertile ground in our modern, hyperconnected digital world. Social media, in particular, acts as a massive amplifier and breeding ground for resentment. Consider these modern manifestations: comparison culture. We are constantly exposed to curated highlight reels of others' lives, sparking feelings of inadequacy and envy. This online comparison is a direct feeding ground for resentment, outrage, and blame. The ease of anonymous criticism and collective outrage online allows for widespread projection of frustrations onto public figures, institutions, or dissenting groups. This is often a safe outlet for suppressed aggression. Virtue signaling, displaying moral superiority by condemning others, often without genuine understanding or personal sacrifice. This can be a subtle form of value reversal, where one's own perceived goodness is defined by the badness of others. Cancel culture, while sometimes justified, it can also become a tool for resentment, where collective anger and moral condemnation are directed at individuals or groups who deviate from a rapidly shifting social norm, often by those who feel marginalized or disempowered. Envy is part of resentment, so is vengeance, human. All too human. In the digital echo chamber, resentment isn't just a personal feeling, it's a collective, self-reinforcing force. We surround ourselves with those who share our resentments, amplifying our bitterness and making it harder to break free. This fuels the post-truth environment we discussed, where objective reality takes a backseat to emotionally charged narratives of blame and victimhood. The danger is that this shadow within us, cultivated by constant comparison and reactive judgment, can actively prevent us from achieving genuine self-overcoming. Instead of focusing on our own growth, we become fixated on the perceived flaws or successes of others. Nietzsche didn't just diagnose the problem. He offered a radical cure: to actively resist resentment by embracing genuine inner strength and creative self-affirmation. This is the path of the Bemensch, who transcends the reactive nature of the herd. Embrace master morality inner focus. Shift your focus from external validation and reactive judgment to internal excellence and self-worth. Define good based on your own strength, courage, and creative drive, not by what you lack or what others approve of. Practice radical self-ownership. Take full responsibility for your life, your choices, and your circumstances. Avoid blaming others or external forces. Recognizing your own agency, even in suffering, is a powerful antidote to resentment. Cultivate active forgetting. Resentment thrives on remembering past hurts and injustices. While learning from the past is crucial, dwelling on grievances prevents forward movement. Nietzsche encouraged a selective forgetting, a capacity to move on and not be perpetually defined by past wrongs. Transform suffering Amor Fati. Instead of resenting your difficulties, embrace them as opportunities for growth. Amor Fati means loving your fate, including all its challenges. See suffering as the forge in which your strength is hardened. This is a profound shift from victimhood to empowerment. My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely to bear what is necessary, still less to conceal it, but to love it. Exi homo focus on creation, not reaction. Direct your energy towards creative projects, personal development, and building a life of meaning. Resentment consumes energy by reacting to others. True power comes from initiating your own path. Conquering resentment is not a single battle, but a continuous war against inner weakness and the pervasive pressures of conformity. It is a vital part of Nietzsche's call to become who you are and to achieve genuine self-overcoming. The epical mind seeks to illuminate these profound truths. In a world that often rewards victimhood and collective blame, Daring to rise above resentment is a revolutionary act of self-empowerment. It is choosing the path of strength over bitterness, creation over reaction. So, as you reflect on the shadows within, consider these questions. What hidden resentments might be holding you back from your true potential? How can you shift from a reactive mindset to a proactive, creative one? What master values will you affirm and cultivate in your own life? Are you ready to truly love your fate, transforming every challenge into a stepping stone for growth? The strength to transcend bitterness and forge a life of profound meaning lies within you. It is time to embrace it, to confront your inner shadow, and to unleash your true power.